It's time for today's Face-Off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quanell X and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Usually I don't agree with napkin Americans, but in the case of this plantation Barbie, I agree. I would never call you napkin American to your face. I would probably go with something like rice rascal, no purpose flour, chalk child. Chalk child is a personal favorite. I love using that one. What about Lice Lieutenant? Do you prefer Lice Lieutenant? When do you have Lice? Walking Ranch. That's the one for you. You are a walking ranch. Yeah?
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
You know, Quanell, we live in America for decades now, where if a white person went out publicly and used horribly awful, profane, pejorative language directed at another race, that there would be a brigade canceling them, appropriately so, right? But we also live in America where, we're 6-7 years into this, where you feel free to call me all kind of racialized pejoratives, and often are doing it in the same breath that you're complaining about racism, right? I've always found criticizing people for immutable characteristics is the province of the stupid. Like, I hate people. I wish I didn't. I wish I was more Christ-like. But there are individuals in this world that I hate, that I got nothing good for, right? But I hate them because of their individual bad acts, not because of their complexion. And I would never criticize them for their complexion. You feel very comfortable doing it. This TikTok user feels very comfortable doing it. I didn't get Lice Lieutenant. I guess lice are white. I don't know. I've never dealt with it. Walking Ranch sounds as if my tasty Eurocentric taste buds could snap my fingers and a bottle of ranch would walk all over to me and I could pour it on everything. But explain to me why it's okay, Quanell. Why is it okay?
Let me say this, Charles. I want to first tell you I appreciate you opening up and sharing with us.
My pain.
And confessing to us what you've been dealing with and what you've been going through.
Thank you.
Confession's good for the soul. But I'm glad you also admit that you hate, because you're hiding your
I hate individuals,
hate.
not groups.
You're hating your hate. You're hiding that hate behind immutable characteristics of some. I don't think so. Not actions of others either. I think you just like to hate, won't tell the truth. But this sister here, beautiful black woman, she seems intelligent, well-spoken, but obviously
She literally just had a tirade of racial pejoratives. You call that well-spoken?
Look, white man, it's my turn to speak.
Okay, all right. As
Now,
if you don't interrupt me constantly.
Now, she said some hell of a things about a certain individual white woman that she was angry with. We didn't hear the whole opposite side of the story of what that white woman do to anger her like that to such a degree to where she went after her. I really believe that whoever hanged this sister was obviously using some type of racial animus toward her, and she responded likewise. She was not speaking to all white people. She was not making these derogatory statements or slurs about every white person. She was speaking about a certain demographic of white people in America who absolutely are racist. Those racist napkin Americans. That's a new one, but damn, I hadn't heard that before. I mean, man, she chalk people, my God, I hadn't heard that one either. But still, she's speaking to the racist whites in America, not all white people.
Well, okay, so there was a news story last week, a victim of a crime, robbery, violent robbery, him and his girlfriend, and when he was being interviewed in the aftermath, he referred to his robber as a damn black bastard, right? And then he was eviscerated on social media. And I am one to take the tack that someone's race has no bearing on whether they're a good or a bad person, right? And I do think it's inappropriate to condemn someone using a racialized descriptor, right? But are you okay with when someone suffers because of the violent crime, or they're a white man or a Hispanic person or an Asian person who suffers, is victimized by violent crime by a black man, right? Mm-hmm. Is it okay for him to use racial pejoratives?
I believe that that white man who was the victim of a heinous crime spoke out in a pain about a crime that took place against him and his fiance or his girlfriend, etc. And that white man called him a black bastard. Well, guess what? The brother who did that, exactly that, he is a black
So what if
bastard.
what if he
Let
used
me
the
finish.
other word?
Let me finish. What is a bastard? A bastard is an illegitimate child of God. And when you out there robbing innocent human beings, you're not of God. When you putting guns and weapons in people's face to take what they worked hard for, you're not a real child of God. You are a bastard. And so in this case, the bastard happened to be black. So we got to call it like it is. He's a black bastard. I know some black folks who would call him the same thing. You no good, dirty black bastard. So the white boy only say it out of pain. What had been done to him.
So as the rule should be, in your opinion, now you're making up, you're just fabricating this
like
woman's
when I say
pain.
white bastard.
Right, because you've seen.
Because I say white bastard sometimes.
You've seen all of this that I've seen, okay? And you're assuming that she has a justification for it. You're assuming that because of the color of her skin.
No, I'm assuming that there's another side
you're
to the story.
You're assuming this woman's
I believe there's a whole other side to the story.
She's the one telling the damn story. She posted the video.
She looks half white, Charles. This is a beautiful black woman, but she looked like Betty Crocker might be her mama. Or she looks like Ken from Barbie might be her daddy.
So if she's
but
biracial,
she's a beautiful black
okay.
woman, but I believe she probably has a white parent.
Okay, again, you're just making stuff up. But
Charles,
that's
I
what
know
you
my
do.
people, Charles.
That's what you do.
Look
you
at
lie.
that sister.
Okay, you.
She got some European
don't speak
blood in her.
Anyhow, she clearly has hatred for white people.
No, she has hatred for the individual white woman,
Okay,
the plantation Barbary that offended her 9 times out of 10 using something likewise.
Your rule, right? Your rule is we've seen some statistics last couple of weeks, horrifying statistics. In fact, I think I saw in Minnesota, I think it's either 79 or 89% of the homicides are committed by African-American male violent criminals, right? Not African-American men generally, violent criminals. Absurdist statistic, right? So, and they have an outsized number. You know, crime is mostly racially homogenous, right? Like white people kill white people, Latin people kill Latin people, Asian people kill Asian people, with the exception of the African-American demographic, and especially so in Minnesota. So, is it okay for people that were victimized or their loved ones were victimized by violent crime by a black criminal, violent black criminal American, not just a black American, because most black Americans are law-abiding, right? Just like most other Americans are law-abiding. Would it be okay for them to use horrifying racial pejoratives like this directed at black people generally on social media? So let's say I was robbed at gunpoint. Well, no, let's say I was robbed at gunpoint, and I'm mad and I'm too stupid to process that it's not the blackness, it's the individual, the soul, the person underneath the epidermis, which is just an organ. And I get on there and I say, this GD N-word. You don't think I should be canceled?
What I would say is...
Because I think I should be canceled if I did that.
No. What I would say is, I'm glad he finally revealed to all of us who he really is.
Jesus Christ. No,
I'm glad the anger and the emotion brought out of him, extracted out of him.
So it's not okay for white people, but it's okay for her.
That obviously the white man was right. He had a right to speak his mind.
Well, but you also
that
called
white
her
boy.
You're not calling her
right
racist.
To speak his mind.
Okay, you're saying white boy's a racist.
I didn't say that.
Well, you said
I said that white boy spoke out of hurt and pain of being a victim of robbery, and the brother who did that was a black bastard.
Okay.
The same way you brought up Minnesota.
Okay.
All them white bastards who bringing them guns to Minnesota for brothers to kill each other.
I know.
No brothers own make guns in
responsibility.
Brothers don't have gun manufacturing plants. We don't make bullets in the hood.
These make-believe
white bastards
gun
make bullets and take them to the hood.
But at the end of the day, racial pejoratives are wrong. Whether directed at black people, white people, Asian people, and Latin people, you should stop using them all the damn time.
Them napkin Americans who bringing guns to Minnesota got them brothers killing each other.
Such a damn racist.
All these chump people bringing bullets to the hood for brothers to kill each other.
Hey, I'm walking ranch. Bring me that walking ranch.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Charles, one of Houston's own, one of the most talented musical performers of her generation and her time, Sister Kelly Rowland, formerly of Destiny's Child, was invited to co-host of the Day Show with Hoda Khattab. Is that a correct name, Khattab or Khatib, something like that? I don't want to mispronounce her name.
Okay.
But her and Hoda were to work together, and she's supposed to co-host.
Right.
Well, when Kelly gets there, she's given a shabby, raggedy dressing room, something that does not befit such an accomplished black woman singer as herself. She was offended and she decided to leave. I applaud that, and I'm glad she did it that way, because had that been Taylor Swift, had that been the late Dolly Parton, had that been some famous white female singer, they would have treated her differently and better. So that black woman walked off as she should, demanding the treatment that she has earned in this world as one of the top entertainers of her time.
Okay, initially, Dolly Parton's still alive. I don't know why you're trying to kill her with the late Dolly Parton.
late Dolly Parton.
You're late. She alive.
You ever seen her?
Oh, goodness, man. Now, you just
Have
insane.
you seen her?
Now, let's talk about
That ain't the Dolly we used to know.
You want to talk about crap? This is all we get. These little bitty bottles of water. We don't have no dressing rooms. Look at it. Y'all see that napkin American sheen on my head? There ain't no. We come in here and we go to work, right?
So quit complaining, Mr. White Man. Enjoy the water.
Okay, I'm enjoying it.
Y'all didn't poison everybody else's water around the world. Enjoy the water.
Let me tell you something. Destiny Child fan. I think it's a little stretch to call Kelly Rowland one of the biggest performers of her time. She's more than Tito, but less than Jermaine. If we're going to compare Destiny's Child to the Jacksons, obviously the real talent is Beyonce. But Kelly Rowland, beautiful, right? When I read that she was 43 years old, I was shocked. She looks all of about 25, 26.
Black don't crack.
Incredible talent, but not one of the greatest talents of our time.
She's one of the greatest talents of her time.
When you agree to do something, right? You don't just quit in the middle. Now, it must have been bad because Hoda came out and said, I want her back. Admitted that it left something to be desired. But I think when you're a diva, right, especially when you're trying to get into a new industry, and this is very clear that Kelly, because she doesn't have the singing chops that Beyonce has, right?
Look, let me say this to you.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to let you sit here and continue insulting that sister and her accomplishments.
But she's not
and her
Beyonce.
Talent. Let me say this. Beyonce was not Destiny's Child by herself. Kelly and LaToya helped her make Destiny's Child to what it is.
There were 4 of them at first.
Let me say this to you.
They kicked 2 of them out and brought another one in.
I'm focused on the real Destiny's Child right now.
So you don't think the original Destiny's Child is
Rowland,
the real Destiny's Child?
Very talented sister.
Okay. I'm not
now,
saying
you can
she's
talk
not
about
talented,
Dolly Parton. You can talk about that flat in the back Taylor Swift. You can talk about her, but don't talk about Kelly.
Okay, first off,
not in front of me.
Anyone that talks negative about Dolly Parton is unfamiliar with the unbelievable amount of charity she has spent her life doing.
I never questioned that.
I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift.
I never questioned that.
I'm not. Yeah, you did. You just called her dead and said, look at her.
I said she ain't the Dolly we used to look at.
Oh, goodness. Now, I don't
Dolly looked like Grandma Molly.
I don't need to know about your
Dolly
8th
like
grade
Grandma
white
Molly.
girl fantasies,
oh,
right?
No.
I don't need to know about your Farrah Fawcett, Dolly Parton.
She looks about 70 pounds with milk jugs.
She's old. She's like 80 years old.
Yeah, she look every bit 80.
All right, man, look, come on.
But black don't crack.
At the end of the day, Kelly is a beautiful woman, looks very young. She's trying to get into a new industry. It doesn't pay to act like a diva, right? Sometimes you get the job done and then complain. And next time you say, hey, my dressing room sucked. It better not happen again.
That was not her first time there.
Or make a demand.
That was not her first time there.
Then why didn't she make this demand before she showed up?
Obviously when she got there before, she was better treated.
No, they
and
said,
in her mind, she's saying,
Hoda
if I've been here before on several occasions
issue.
and got better treatment, why invite me back this time for a prominent role on the show and mistreat me with the accommodations that you're giving me?
Facts, not an evidence.
I don't believe that Sister Kelly would have exited
argument.
that building had not the accommodations was an insult to her.
Well, so what do you base that belief on? Do you know
because
Kelly?
Yes.
Okay.
And one thing about Sister Kelly,
tell us.
She's a great humanitarian.
Okay.
She's done wonderful things for the city of Houston, the homeless. She's done a
lot
of work for them.
Rita Ora showed up at the last minute and filled in.
You cannot have her disrespected like that.
You
white women wouldn't tolerate it. White women wouldn't tolerate it.
How do you know what white women would tolerate?
Our sisters to tolerate that.
How would you know?
I don't think so.
In fact, it's my understanding it's the same dressing room that everybody else uses, right? And Hoda admitted.
Everybody like who?
The other fill-ins.
Thank you, but they ain't Kelly Rowland.
Okay, but they have other prominent celebrity fill-ins of all races, right?
Supposedly.
Rita Ora showed up
and
at the last minute.
I guarantee you they probably gave her a better dressing room.
No, they didn't. That's the issue.
They won't make that mistake
and
again.
It's a level of professionalism, right?
No, It's called do not insult that sister based on her sacrifices when she's accomplishing her career.
Sacrifices?
Yes.
What sacrifice? Tell me.
Let me say this to you.
If it was a white woman, you would be calling her every kind of name in the book for walking out and not doing her damn job. Then you'd be going, poor Sister Hoda, poor Sister Hoda had to cover up and help because this white woman is just a horrible person. Everything you do is based on race.
I would say, Hoda, you should have went to her house and called at the front door and got it straight. That's what I would say. But now look,
so now you're saying Hoda should have went and throw hands with some white celebrity?
I didn't say that. She can go lay holy hands on her.
Lay holy hands on her.
I believe
so if it's a white girl,
Rowland,
it would be bad. She needs to get punched in the mouth.
I didn't say
Kelly
that.
Rowland, well, poor sister Kelly was disrespected by
Kelly
not having enough space in her
accommodations were horrible.
Horrible.
Invite Kelly back.
Horrible.
Give her better accommodations
They've
this time.
actually already invited her back, which seems kind of pathetic.
And I guarantee you, she'll have a better dressing room.
Because actually,
and Hoda apologized. Hoda would not have apologized had she not known that was a bad spot they gave her. Give her bad accommodations.
Nonsense. People should stop.
And you're gonna talk about her talent.
Diva. She's not as talented as Beyonce.
I'll turn this damn table over.
She's not a top 5 singer.
Don't disrespect that
and
sister
I'll
in
say
front
this,
of me.
the top 5 singers are all black.
See, you want them
but
napkins.
She ain't one of them.
You want them napkins that girl was talking about.
Napkin Americans.
Girl was talking about.
Viva la napkin Americans.
Entertainment industry just won't leave any area alone, right? They just have to seize control over every aspect, don't they?
They've got to make their mark just like a dog in a dog walk park. You know, every dog has to mark every tree, right? So that's what's going on here. Shania and the other folks you talked about, what they did is they were in country music and they went out. That's one thing. But people coming into country music have because I know a little something about country music. And
in this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
Now that was Bo Duke, John Schneider, Dukes of Hazzard. You know, I don't know why we're shocked if we hear something we perceive as racialized from a guy that had a TV show where he drove around with the rebel flag on top of the General Lee, but he is being condemned because the argument by the Beehive, is making the point that he compared Houston's own most talented, vivacious performer in history, right? That they compared her to a dog. Now, when you listen to the entire track, which is not what Tariq Nasheed, the African-American Twitter activist, put up, they were talking about a range of country and Western performers who are crossover talent, whether they went from country music to pop music, or in Beyonce's case, from pop music to country music. He's talking about people just making their mark everywhere. Now, it doesn't sound like, when you look at it as a whole, that it was him being racist. It was just a nasty analogy because he was talking about white and black people as well. Now, Tariq Nasheed took it and tweeted, country music is a genre created by foundational black Americans, and then goes off about him analogizing Beyonce and these other artists, these white ones, to dogs peeing on everything. I don't think this was racialized. I think it was just a bad comparison. Not to say he's above racism. I also find it absurd that Tariq Nasheed, much like you, want to rob white people of any creation, right? At this time in America, right? You go to any university in America right now, and you look at a black history class, it's going to talk about all the wonderful accomplishments of black people throughout history. If you look at an Asian history class, it's going to talk about all the contributions of Asian people throughout history. If you look at a indigenous people or a Latinx people history class, again, it's going to focus on all the positives. But right now in America, if you look at any class about white Americans, it is going to ignore any positive benefits, any that the Western world has contributed to the world as a whole, and it's only going to talk about the evils of whiteness and how horrible white folk are. And then at any opportunity, when you can call a white guy racist, fairly or unfairly, they're going to. Also, you love to talk about cultural appropriation, Quanell. Well, if a white person opens up a taco shop or a soul food shop, well, they're a racist cultural appropriator. If a white person raps, you hate white rappers, right? You have bitched about white rappers for years. You called it cultural appropriation. I don't feel that way about Beyonce. I think that Hold 'Em song kind of sucks, but I don't think it's real country music, but I think she's an incredible talent.
I have complained about white rappers
Constantly for years.
Who take from the African American entertainment industry and market, but don't give the credit where it deserves.
Who?
I've always spoke out against those white rappers who attempt to make money off the genre of hip hop, but yet don't make the financial contributions back into the community that they should.
Who?
Bubba Sparks, one in particular for sure. And even Eminem was there until he was encouraged by the black brothers surrounding him. He needed to do more and do better in Detroit for his own black community in Detroit, because that's where he started his hip hop career there. But we're talking about
We've all seen the
Beyonce.
movie.
We're talking about Beyonce and this white guy here, and this white female. To watch that whole interview was an insult. It was disrespectful. To compare Beyonce, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, female entertainer.
I'll give you that. She's amazing.
Lifetime,
right?
Her generation.
Like Taylor Swift here, Beyonce up here.
If not for the last 3 generations. But to him to use the analogy comparing her to a dog.
It wasn't just her. It was Shania Twain.
We knew what he was doing.
Taylor Swift.
We knew what he was doing.
Okay, who's we? Who's we?
We black folk.
How so?
And let me finish, man. I didn't cut you off.
You do it all the time.
This no good
I used to
racist
not cut you
cracker.
off, but I gave up.
This racist no good cracker.
So why is it okay to call him a cracker?
Sister, I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
To compare their sister to a dog, when it is black people, according to the president of the Country Music Hall of Fame that founded country music, and you sit there and speak like an asinine jackass about Beyonce,
what did
is
white people create?
unforgivable.
I mean, no doubt black people created rock and roll.
We can get
right?
there. We can get there.
There's absolutely no doubt.
Let me finish. We can get
rock
there.
Rock and roll was
but
stolen
this man
from
was
the
racist.
Rockabilly
and
blues.
the touchy-feely plantation mistress interviewing him, she was no better.
So,
Sister Beyonce
cracker,
deserves to be recognized
mistress.
with her song Texas Hold'em.
So he should be
a beautiful country song.
Oh, that song is trash.
But to make it appear that we as black folk are trying to go into a genre or go into a field of music that we don't have access to or should not have access to is an insult when we founded the genre of country music.
How so? Who founded it?
African people.
But who? Tell me.
African people.
Give me a name.
And according,
because I can give you names of the black people that created rock and roll.
And I can
right,
too.
Little Richard, Chuck Berry, go on and on.
Come on now.
It was really a woman.
And Elvis Presley, he damn sure wasn't the king of rock and roll.
Well, he just co-opted it.
He stole black music.
Okay, do you think Eminem stole black music?
Eminem absolutely stole the black talent and black music.
Okay,
because he wasn't born by black people or from black people.
But he's an incredibly talented rapper, right?
But what he did, he took black music and used it to the best of his internal genius and made great accomplishments with it. And I have no problem with it.
You condemned him for it for years.
I condemned him for not giving back to the black community with the level of success he made out of black music. That's what I did.
But yet, so Beyonce, should she give back to the white community?
For what?
For making white music.
She does give back to them.
Okay. So
all the time.
How so?
Easy. White people distribute her music and make tens of millions and billions from it.
That is rich white people.
White people,
about a white
wait a minute.
Community,
white people control the networks that she perform on.
You know, you talk about white people as if all white people are rich.
That she travel
I was born into a broken ass home.
So don't pretend like she don't give it to white folk.
Okay, the truth is,
she give a lot of money to white people.
She's stealing white music. Who cares?
She ain't stealing white music.
As long as she's making her money.
We are the mothers and fathers
Beyonce,
of music.
Make your own money. Don't worry about the people. And all the white rappers, you do the same damn thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, for this man to compare Sister Beyonce to a dog peeing somewhere, really he's want to say the B-I-T-C-H word, because that's what a female dog really is. I would encourage other brothers in the music industry to speak out against this man and let that man know, hands off our sister, we're not going to tolerate that. And I would hope that other black male country performers also send Mr. Bo Duke a message. We're not going to let you attack our sister like that. But we have to find better ways in this nation to be honest in this country. America has never taught real, raw, unadulterated black history in this country. It's taught his story, not history, because history is always written by the conquerors and never the conquered. So for my co-host to pretend like black history is really taught in America is an absolute lie, because if you teach real indigenous Native American history, you teach real black history, it'll be a nightmare being told.
The only one lying in this instance is Cornell. What I didn't say is high schools. I mean, if Florida's got everything wrong, I said universities in America, right? And universities in America, we've just said you can just Google whiteness, and all you'll get is article after article, scholarly article of the evils of whiteness, right? And we're telling Americans that your complexion impacts your character, and it doesn't, right? When we talk about John Schneider, I don't have any doubt the guy's probably a racist, right? And he's also a goober and doesn't seem that bright. But he was talking about a number of performers, not just Beyonce, about them making their mark everywhere. But if you can find if social media can find any reason to call anything racism, you will, except if that bigotry is directed at white people, then we'll hear people like Cornell just describe, as he used many racialized pejoratives against white people just in this last segment. Beyonce, an incredible performer, an incredible talent. I am a massive fan. But I'm also a massive fan of Paul Wall, a white rapper right here in Houston. We need to stop calling everything cultural appropriation and start celebrating talent no matter what the color.
That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.